Hello and welcome back to another weekend project from Make Magazine. I'm your host, Kip K. Have you ever tried to get a smooth shot while using your camcorder, either walking or running? It's pretty difficult to do, even for a seasoned professional. And the steady shot function on a lot of cameras, leaves a lot to be desired. Plus, the smaller the camera, the more difficult it is. Well, unless you got about 10 grand to spend on a professional Steadicam, what are your options? Well, we're going to go all the way back to the beginning, Make Volume 1, as we build a $14 camera stabilizer on today's weekend project. To build the $14 video camera stabilizer by Johnny Lee, you'll need a 5-pound barbell weight. And you'll also need 3 half-inch by 12-inch threaded galvanized pipes, a T-joint that fits the threads on your pipes, 3 matching threaded end caps, a couple of 1/4-inch bolts and nuts, a wing nut, and some washers. As far as tools, you'll need a hammer, a pair of pliers, a straight screwdriver, a drill and a 1/4-inch drill bit, and of course safety goggles. Making the handle is easy enough. Take one of the 12-inch pieces of galvanized pipe, screw on the T-fitting on one end, and on the other end, screw on the end cap. Don't torque these down completely tight because you may want to experiment with different size pipe later on. Now take one of the remaining end caps and put it in a vise nice and tight, and then I use some household oil and put a few drops inside, and now it's time to drill out as close to center as possible this end cap. Now what the oil does is allows the bit to run smoothly through the metal, and it also picks up the metal shavings in an oily goop. And then repeat this procedure with the other end cap. Now it's time to prepare the mount that will actually hold your camcorder, and this is done by taking one of the 1/4-inch bolts, putting a lock washer on it, running it through the inside of one of the drilled out end caps, another lock washer, and then the nut. And I'm going to add a crescent wrench to the tool list because this will make things much easier. Hold the end cap with the wrench and then tighten the nut nice and tight using the crescent wrench. Now we need to create kind of a domed shape to one of the flange washers, and this will be done by putting the barbell weight on the floor, taking the flange washer and putting it over the center hole, and then taking one of the bolts and hammering it into the center of the flange washer. And what you'll end up with is kind of a dome-shaped flange washer, which will be used to mount to the camera. Okay, we are almost finished. It's time to assemble the base, and that's done by taking one of the 1/4-inch bolts, putting it through a flange washer, and then putting that into our barbell hole, putting a flange washer on the other end, running our other drilled out end cap through that bolt with a lock washer and a nut. And the easiest way to tighten this down is to put the end cap in a vise and then just turn the weight, and that will tighten everything up nice and tight. And the idea behind this is to kind of suck the bolt head into the washer and make it flush so it doesn't stick out. Finish up the handle by attaching the 2 other 12-inch pieces of pipe into the T-flange. One end of the pipe gets threaded into our barbell weighted base, and then thread the mount on the remaining end of the pipe, and then that gets threaded into your camcorder. You'll want to make sure the camcorder is nice and tight on the mount. And now it's time for a test run. I was actually very impressed by the smoothness of this $14 video camera stabilizer as I made my way around the yard. The moves were amazingly smooth and steady. Now again, you can modify this by using different weight and different size pipes. Well, there's how to make a $14 video camera stabilizer. We'll see you next time with another weekend project.